Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Yesterday we were reading about very thought-provoking expressions of Papa. What were they?
Swamiji, 1 second. Audio is Hari Om. No, you can.
Yesterday we were reading out a few thought-provoking words of Papa. What were they?
Individuality must disappear to be aware of consciousness.
What was Papa's words?
God is everywhere means God. Seeing God everywhere means seeing God.
Seeing God everywhere means seeing God nowhere. To see God everywhere means to see God nowhere. When you see God everywhere, you see or feel one with the impersonal reality. You have nothing to do with the personal expression of that reality. Because all beings and creatures we see before us are the expressions of that reality. If you see only the expressions and not the underlying reality, you will have likes and dislikes. You will have love and hate. You will have good and evil. But when you transcend them and see Him everywhere as one all-pervading divine spirit, and all these manifestations as only expressions of that spirit, then you see the one in the many, the unseen in the seen, unity in diversity. In that vision, all distinctions which you otherwise see on the surface disappear. And it is then that your attitude towards everybody becomes alike. Instead of seeing ourselves everywhere in the impersonal, we see everybody as separate from us and we are fighting with one another. Ignorance is the cause of this sense of separation. Ignorance is the cause of the sense of separation. So while Ramnam chanting, if we have this background, that you are there in everybody, including me, you are now making me to say these words, enable me to experience this so that I will not have otherness. As soon as you pray, we are not going to reach that stage. So we have to every now and then talk, think and do on these lines. Meaning, whether I am, that is why he said, always think in terms of universal, not in terms of individual. Every time when we deal with men and matters, we do it from this sense of individuality level. That has been the practice. Now we are trying, another dimension Papa is giving. So long as you maintain this, you will be always in the clutches of likes and dislikes, good and evil, love and hate, all those things will be there. But basically, essentially, intrinsically, spiritually, the source is one. Through many slogas in Bhagavad Gita, through many of his utterances, he has made us known about it, at least intellectually. Now we have to put in our efforts to experientially have it. So this particular para is that, transcend. So he has given that God is everywhere means God is nowhere. In the sense, there is nobody to point out that this is God dimension, this is not God dimension. So long as I am there, I will put this label. When I am not there, who is to put the label? That is why he said God is nowhere. Not that it is not there. Only that remains. Then we don't have to say it specifically. Devotee, do you mean to say then, when all differences disappear, what confronts your eyes is something like a transparent formless jelly? Papa, no. The differences are not hammered into a jelly-like thing. It is like the gold out of which you make different ornaments. You see the same gold in all ornaments in different forms with the different names. So also out of clay you make vessels of different kinds with different shapes. Though the clay is one, the vessels are different in the name and shape. So also this universal manifestation is nothing but the concrete expression of the divine, who is both impersonal and personal, without form and with form, unseen and seen. We see only the external aspect and therefore diversity and not the underlying unity. And that is why there is so much clash and conflict in the world. That is why when we are on the spiritual path, we try to become aware of the values. Values are nothing but that knit people together, that connects people together, links people with another. And whenever anybody expresses that, we not merely appreciate, we feel a sense of joy. When somebody sacrifices for somebody, when you hear this, what is your mental attitude as a spiritual aspirant? From the others, they may name it as exploitation, emotional blackmail, so many things they will say. But as a spiritual aspirant, we find, the divinity has come out, because you remember the words of Papa. When you are compassionate, you play the part of God. When you are forgiving, you play the part of God. When you are loving, you play the part of God. So values are nothing but expressions of Him. So we try. First of all, we try to see the values in others, and that will definitely generate. We cannot learn these values. Academic, there cannot be any academic training for values. Suppose we give a lecture on compassion, nobody will become compassionate. It is something inherent. Spontaneously it comes, without any effort. So what do? To touch and kindle. We try to go through such are the incidents in our life where God made us to see, observe the value of compassion, value of sacrifice, value of selflessness, value of excellence. Then Then watch ourselves, what do we feel at that time? So when we see the external aspect, no. Values are something, that is there. So we try to develop. That is why in the spiritual science, what is unearthed are the spiritual values. Just like in material science, so many things are unearthed, They are all truths. When the first scientist saw the water, he was able to, after so many experimentation, brought that it is H2O. Even before his knowing H2O, water was there, Similarly, many things have come out of it. When he started observing the air, we only put it as air. But a scientist started digging out. Then he knew what we inhale is oxygen, what we exhale is excess of carbon dioxide. So like that. It is not that before the invention or discovery, it was not there. It was there. Similarly, spiritual scientists also have done deep into the spirit, and they have unearthed all these values. Values are there even before its recognition. Even before we knew that values are there. So we are trying to now become aware of it. And when the moment we become aware of it, I don't mean intellectually. Intellectually you can read a book. But when you see somebody doing it, practical demonstration, it touches and kindles you. Where did we don't know? The other day, I think in Bombay, where we were coming, where we are going to the airport. One vehicle, a cat was crossing. Naturally, it got damaged because of the vehicle. The next car stopped and took the cat, put it inside. He was rushing to the hospital. We remember, Why we remember? He did not just leave it. After all, cat, what can we do? This is normal reaction. But here is someone who identifies himself with that cat and immediately takes it. And he was inside the car, he left, then we left. So such acts, that is why Papa's that quotation, that is the best mantra. Behold divinity in the world we live in is a school in which observation and experience offer us immense possibilities for self-improvement. Nay, the world itself is Guru or God. So this is how the values are unearthed. Papa says, in unity there is happiness, in diversity there is unhappiness. Our individual sense must be substituted by the cosmic sense. The individuality must disappear into cosmic consciousness. The cosmic consciousness is God. We must meditate on Him and surrender ourselves to Him in order to lose our individuality in His cosmic reality. Then we see unity in diversity. We see the whole universe as the manifestation of one reality that has no name and form. Devotee. If man experiences God in such a way that his ego dissolves in God, there is no longer any request or application for anything, because there is no one to ask for. Papa, that is the state we have to realize. Complete oneness and identity with God. Then God is for us inside, outside, everywhere.
Once again.
If a man experiences, like Minadia, so there is, the individuality must disappear into cosmic consciousness. It will not straight away come. Anything that is common, when we find in anybody, immediately we develop an affinity. Suppose when we go out, when we see somebody wearing a dhoti, and there is two type of wear. One is the right side, we all hand the left side. Left side. Tying. The moment we see a person with a dhoti tied to the left side, we immediately, must be a Malayali. There is an affinity developed. See, talks about, say, in a far off place, suppose they talk Malayalam. Immediately we will go together, So that means wherever there is any common one, you just think about it. Many incidents, that's why we remember, where we had come across this. Mysteriously, God will connect us up also. So the moment we know there is something common in us, we develop an affinity. Similarly, when one value is shown, he may not be talking about language. He may be a very sattvic man. But his ways of dealing, perfection, everything, when we start observing, and if we are also trying to ensure it as a part of our natural life, then the affinity develops. Either he will come to us or we will go to him. Suppose you have got interest in language, presentation of a language use, and suppose somebody uses he is well up in English. Naturally, you will try to read. You will try to move to him. You will try to discuss with him. And you will say that expression was exactly, what I had in my mind. So these are all hints by which we come to know that first our job is to identify the common factor. And that ultimately the common factor is our source of all sources. So here he says, our individual sense must be substituted by the cosmic sense, by identifying the common factor. The individuality must disappear into cosmic consciousness. The cosmic consciousness is God. We must meditate on Him, surrender ourselves to Him in order to lose our individuality in His cosmic reality. Then we see unity in diversity. We see the whole universe as the manifestation of one reality that has no name or form. Devotee, if man experiences God in such a way that his ego dissolves in God, there is no longer any request or application for anything because there is no one to ask or give. Papa. That is the state we have to realize. Complete oneness and identity with God. Then God is for us, inside, outside, everywhere. The whole world we see as the expression of God. So this month, the vision is concentrating upon this one world family. Words of Puja Mataji. Omnipresent Papa's ashram means the whole universe. It is to enable us to learn that this ashram was established by beloved Papa. Many a time all of you would have heard, because we had read it from the vision in 1963, after Papa's dropping the body. Have we applied our mind? Omnipresent Papa's ashram is the whole universe. I may be coming to ashram, I may be doing something, I may be following certain things, I may be appreciating something. But this particular word is a hammer on my head. Have I accepted? I am prostrating before the form which I have named, everybody calls it as Papa. And this Papas, who made us aware of the real Papa, omnipresent Papa, his whole ashram is this whole universe. Am I identifying only with this ashram? Am I only identifying with me and mine people? Omnipresent Papa's ashram means the whole universe. It is to enable us to learn that this ashram was established by beloved Papa. That expansion, that is what is expected of us. We cannot expand in one go. Step by step we can try to. Because Mataji, these words keeps coming to us. Omnipresent, Papa's ashram is the whole universe. Why has Papa established ashram? It is to teach us how to lead our lives according to the tenets of universal love and service. That is why you all come here. Stay here for some time and then return home. That is why also I am after you all, asking you to repeat more and more Ram Nam so that your hearts may go towards others in the world with the same intensity as they do to your close relatives. We were doing, as Mataji said, Ram Nam chanting, but the other part is a question mark. That is why I am after you all, asking you to repeat more and more Ram Nam so that your hearts may go towards others in the world with the same intensity as they do to your close relatives. Consider the world itself as your home. That is the secret of universal love and service. Feel for others as you would feel for yourself. I do not want you to discard your attachment, but I want you to widen the sphere of attachments, not merely to my family. No? Make your circle of attachments bigger and bigger. If you expand your sphere of mindness so as to embrace the whole world, then while serving the world, you will feel the joy that you get when serving yourself. Transform the individual into the universal. This transformation is possible by taking Ram Nam. Provided we understand that. We have all been taking Ram Nam. Have you been able to expand? Now you just think about it, when we work in a company, if the sense of belongingness is there for the company, that means we are widening our love circle. We are not merely a wage earner. A wage earner will be there only for earning the wages. But when I become, these are all the professional ethics, moral ethical values in profession. I become one with the company, one with the organization. This organization has been able to give job to many people, meet the needs of the customers, and because of this, so many activities, so many economic activities have expanded. If an unemployed man gets a job, his purchasing capacity goes more. He will be able to buy more. That means more and more things when he buys, manufacturer will also be there. So many activities, So God, that is why He said, be highly creative. Papa used to say, be highly creative. But not for this thing, anything else. When you create something, it is going to reach out to many. When we went for the tour, Aparna and Janvi, they prepared so many things at home and then gave it to the dehydrator. Somebody is having that machine. One day it has to be there. The moisture content will be taken out and it will be sealed and packed and given to us. Upma, parikapitla, sambar, rasam, so many things. So all that you have to do is to put hot water, wait for 10 minutes, the dish is before you. Just imagine. So when it struck to somebody about the dehydrator, how it is reaching out to people, we don't know that Mahan. Later on when we came here, we checked up with the Google Baba, then he showed us that machine. So you have to keep it there. So when why we remember Creativity, creativity unknowingly reaches to many people. That means broadening our circle and ensuring quality in it reaches out more and more. So it is not merely earning for the profit. He has to get a profit, no doubt. He has to have a living. That apart. He is reaching out. I was the beneficiary. Because we don't take anything while we are in the aircraft, so we ask only for hot water. Put it there. In 15 minutes we had wonderful upma. What a brilliant idea. In good old days we cannot think of it. You have to carry whatever. So be highly, how to reach out. I may be employed, I may be having a business, everything is okay. But if I don't compromise the quality, you are reaching out to many. Your credibility. So I do not want you to discard your attachment. I want you to widen the sphere of attachments, make your circle of attachments bigger and bigger. If you expand your sphere of mindness so as to embrace the whole world, then while serving the world, you will feel the joy that you get when serving yourself. Transform the individual into the universal. This transformation is possible by taking Ramnam. Mataji continues again. When your mind goes within as a result of thinking about Papa's universal attributes, you begin to see him in everyone around you. That is Sakshatkar. When you start looking upon your relative and on the man in the street in the same light, with the same vision, it means that you have made spiritual progress and are ready to merge into Papa. When you start looking upon your relatives and on the man in the street in the same light with the same vision, it means that you have made spiritual progress and are ready to merge into Papa. Papa always asks us to regard the whole universe as our home and not just the place we dwell in. If we consider the whole universe as our home, then we will not have any attachment to any place or property, because every place is ours. First we love ourselves, then we love our kith and kin, then people in the neighborhood, then those in the country, finally those in the world at large. This is how we expand our vision. And the method of expanding the vision to embrace the whole universe is to repeat Ram Nam, to see him in all forms, love everyone as we love our Guru, and to serve him all. So Mataji is, one word, omnipresent Papa's ashram is the whole universe. Spirituality means nothing but expansion. Expansion from the me to we, and then we to him. Whatever I may be doing, whether Ramnam or Bhajan or Vedic studies, temple going, Archana doing, whatever it may be, ultimately it zeroes to whether I am expanding. Whether the care and concern of more and more people are there in my heart, or my heart is fully with me and mine. Each one has to do this. Universal integration by Puja Swamiji. It is high time that every citizen in our country tries to find ways and means of bringing about national integration so that unity and a sense of oneness may prevail among all. We should strive not only for national integration but also for universal integration or world integration. To be a true and useful citizen of a country, one has to free oneself from the pull of the petty lower nature, raise ourselves so as to be controlled by the higher nature, which alone will enable one to be honest, straightforward, loving, serviceable to others. How can one do so? One can successfully do so only by expanding one's vision beyond the narrow circle of relations and friends, to gradually embrace the entire humanity as one's own, to accept all men and women as one's brothers and sisters respectively. This is the truth. The world is one family. Our common parent is God. To begin with, let us try to find out who we are, where we have come from, what is our relation with others, what is our relation with the world, what is our relation with that power which is responsible for the creation, preservation, dissolution of the world. Have any of you thought of these questions so far? Who we are, where we have come from, what is our relations with others, what is our relations with the world, what is our relation with that power which is responsible for the creation, preservation and dissolution of the world. Have any of you thought of these questions so far? What do you think yourself to be? Do you think you are the body? You are something more than that. You are the eternal infinite Atman by whose power the body is active. So do all other bodies. As Atman, our true being and existence, we, all those in creation, are one, though our bodies are different. If one possesses such a vision, where is the question of saying that we belong to a particular state? Are we not all one in spirit, whether our bodies are born in Kerala or Tamil Nadu or other state, or for that matter anywhere in the world? If you all develop this vision, do you need anything else to bring about national integration, even world integration? With this vision, you can automatically love one another in the true sense of the term and bring about the feeling of a one world family. What a wonderful world it will be, then transform itself into a world of harmony and peace. One more example and experience. When we came back from our tour, many of them wanted that initially, an effort was made to take the important points in all the satsang. There were about more than 40 satsangs. But again, the Papa promised we should go, instead of the important points, let us go through the whole thing. Now, how to transcribe, when we talk, it is recorded. But to transcribe it is the toughest job. You have to hear, you have to type out, you have to hear, you have to type out. An attempt was made. Suddenly, to somebody it struck. You don't have to do that. There is a particular app you touch. Then as we say the word, it immediately types out. Even then it is a long drawn affair. There are about 40, each session must be definitely 1 to 1.5 hours. Then when somebody was asked to do that, to assist, that boy immediately, in 10-15 minutes, he found out another app, did something like this, the whole speech is transcribed. So we thought it would take minimum 1 or 1.5 months. In 2 hours time, the entire 40. Now we have to do editing. That's the thing. Why I remember, the person who did this, the interview, who brought out this app, we don't know him, but he is reaching out to us, and it is useful to us, those who are working on it, because when they are thinking in terms of bringing out more salient points contained than the important points, then it will be helpful. When it is read by somebody, they may also touch and get kindled. So you just imagine one person's intelligence coming out in the form of an app, how it reaches out to many. Suppose I become conscious of this. If I am a software developer, if I am conscious of this, enough. I may be a wage earner to my company, but heart of heart I feel this is what I can do. In the process, I have to live, so I accept the salary or remuneration. So we are all interconnected, interdependent, because the person who brought it out did not specify the beneficiary. At the moment, there is one world family, no doubt about it. We have to become aware of it, that's all. When we go for buying anything in the shop, do we remember the person who identified it for the first time? When you are going there for tur dal, for example, or rice, or urdu dal, anything, green gram, there should be a person, to first declare this. And he is reaching out today. Whether you are in USA, whether you are in Australia, whether you are in India, everybody uses. So the world is one family, no doubt about it. But we are not aware. Just like God is in us, we are not aware of it. That is why the division comes. Not that the God has left us. God is there as the indwelling reality. We are not aware of it. We have to become aware. Similarly, the world is one great family. It is there. We have to become aware of it. Anything, right from morning till evening, when I use anything, including this language, I find it is a gift of others, gift of others. We don't know who brought it out. So, they are reaching us. That unknown author of all these things, each reaching out to so many people, but we do not remember them. We give them money and buy the tur dal, but we hardly think about the person who brought this tur dal into our domain. Think about it. So it is not a new thing. It is a thing which we were unaware, we are trying to become aware. God and the Universe by Swami Shivanandi. The Gita says, there can be no existence out of non-existence, nor can the existence cease to be. The truth about both has been perceived by seers. There can be no existence out of non-existence. From nothing, something will not come out. Only from something, something will not come. Something will come out. We are something now. We cannot come from nothing. So we come from that something. Something cannot come out of nothing. Something can come out of something only. The grass comes out of the earth and is absorbed into the earth. Even so, the universe comes out of Brahman, rests in Brahman, dissolves in Brahman. In the beginning, Brahman, who is one without a second, alone exists. When darkness was rolling over darkness, there was existence alone. In Brahman, there was a spandana or vibration before the world was projected. This is the sankalpa of Brahman. He thought and willed, Ekoham Bahushyam. I am the one, may I become many. This vibration corresponds to the bulging of the seed within the ground when it is soaked with the water. Then the whole world is projected. The whole universe is the body of God. This entire world is a world of Virata Swarup. This world is not a world of dead matter, but a living presence. Brahman or the Absolute manifests itself as the universe through forms. Creation is a joyous self-expression of the One. Oh, it's a new way. Creation is a joyous self-expression of the One. A king played the part of a beggar for his own sport. A sage played the part of a fool for his own sport. Even so, the world is a sport or leela of Brahman. Brahman appears as the world. It is Brahman alone that shines as the world of variegated objects. Brahman himself appears as stone, tree, stars. The one consciousness alone appears as the universe of plurality. Just as one man alone becomes many in dream, so also the one God exists as many. The whole universe is Brahman only. In essence, all this is Brahman only, appearing in Brahman and through Brahman. Earth, food, fire, sun are forms of Brahman. East, west, north, south are parts of the Lord. The sky, the heaven, the ocean are portions of Brahman. God has become the universe and all in it from Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. Master, it is only after attaining Brahmajnana that one sees the non-duality, the oneness of Brahman and its Shakti. Brahman and Shakti are identical power. Like fire and its power to burn. Fire and its power to burn. When a man thinks of fire, he must also think of its power to burn. Again, when he thinks of the power to burn, he must also think of fire. Further, Brahman and Shakti are like milk and its whiteness, water and its wetness. But there is a stage beyond even Brahmajnana. After Jnana comes Vijnana. He who is aware of knowledge is also aware of ignorance. The sage Vasishtha was stricken with grief at the death of his 100 sons, asked by Lakshmana why a man of knowledge should grieve for such reason. Rama said, brother, go beyond both knowledge and ignorance. He who has knowledge has ignorance also. If a thorn has entered your foot, get another thorn with the help of it. Take it out first and then throw away the second two. Devotee, should one throw away both knowledge and ignorance? Master, yes. That is why one should acquire Vijnana. You see, he who is aware of light is also aware of darkness. He who is aware of happiness is also aware of suffering. He who is aware of virtue is also aware of vice. He who is aware of good is also aware of evil. He who is aware of holiness is also aware of unholiness. He who is aware of I is also aware of you. What is Vijnana? It is knowing God in a special way. The awareness and conviction that fire exists in wood is jnana, knowledge. But to cook rice on that fire, eat the rice, get nourishment from it is Vijnana. Applied knowledge is Vijnana. To know by one's inner experience that God exists is jnana. But to talk to Him, to enjoy Him as child, as friend, as master, as beloved is Vijnana. The realization that God alone has become the universe and all living being is Vijnana. Excerpt from the Face to Faith with Bhagavan, Ramana Maharshi. V. Ganeshan in his book Moments Remembered. Sri Krishna Prem would always carry a shoulder bag in which he kept in a glass case the images of Radha and Krishna. Only while going to bed would he remove the bag from his shoulder. He was a staunch Vaishnavite. He once quoted Sarvam Vasudevam Ayam Jagat and asked Bhagavan, is not this the highest ideal? Bhagavan nodded his head in agreement and said, yes, yes, it is an exalted state of consciousness. Yet, who is it that thinks that all that is perceived is Vasudeva? Is it not you yourself? While seeing the earth, the trees, plants as Vasudeva, don't you wish to see yourself as He? If you, who see everything as Vasudeva, learn to see yourself as Vasudeva, then you will become Vasudeva yourself. If he who sees is transformed into Vasudeva, then that which is seen automatically becomes Vasudeva. Acharya Shankara's Drishtim Jnanamayim Kritva. Infuse perception with jnana is simply this. So see Him everywhere. Should start from see Him in us. Is universal love an illusion by beloved Papa? Universal love being the direct outcome of a spiritual realization, the question has to be discussed from the standpoint of spirituality. Now, the highest spiritual attainment is to unite and become one with the cosmic spirit of God. This God, since He is the sole originator of the universe, is the parent of all creatures and beings in the world. He is not a communal, creedal, national God. All His children on this earth, to whatever denomination or country they belong, are in His eyes equally entitled to His love. Where does this God dwell? He pervades the entire universe and is at the same time seated in the full glory of His perfection in the hearts of all creatures in the world. With these preliminary remarks, let us come to the question which forms the title of this essay. If we understand God in the above sense, how could we contend that to attain Him is not to realize His infinite love, love that sheds its light on all beings alike, irrespective of creed, race, or country? It is to strive to realize this supreme love is to pursue an illusion. If universal love is an utopian chimera, then it can be well said to believe in the existence of God itself is a hallucination of a distempered and diseased mind. Look within, know thyself, is the message of the rishis, resounding in our ears through time immemorial. What do you gain by drawing your vision inward? When you have found the immortal self within you, the identity with the immortal truth grants you the knowledge that you are not a mere body, garbed in the various trappings of your own making, such as of a particular community, color, nationality, but that you are the omnipresent truth which transcends all limitations, born of name and form, and that you are the universal truth pervading throughout and manifest as the universe. The rishis taught how you could transform the narrow consciousness of the jiva into the infinite consciousness of Godhead. They exhort, remove the veil of ignorance, and that moment you realize that you are Brahman. Now ignorance cannot be dispelled except by illuminating flash of divine knowledge or the knowledge of your own eternal self. Unless you universalize your vision, unless you expand your heart to mingle with the infinite love of God, you cannot realize the great reality. Unless you universalize your vision, unless you expand your heart to mingle with the infinite love of God, you cannot realize the great reality. Love of one's own country, loyalty to one's own race, identity with one's own community, attachment to one's own family are all alike the offsprings of ignorance. In all these you are imprisoned in a cage of a smaller or bigger dimension. Still you are in a cage. To fling life into the infinite expanse of divine existence is the work of heroes. And happily in the present age, Mother Earth can be proud of innumerable heroic sons who boldly declare that the whole world is their home and all beings in it their brethren. Real freedom, or what the Hindus designate as moksha, is not conditioned by boundaries or limitations. It connotes equal vision and love towards all. Immortality and bliss are his who has attained this beatific state. Exercise the greatest privilege of your life, namely to rise beyond all mind-made distinctions, the narrow walls of separation that keeps you apart from each other, dazzled as you are by the alluring glamour of the such slogans of patriotism, communalism, Swaraj, nationalism. The idols raised in the name of these ideals have been the cause of devastating wars and the disruptive spirit of communism, exploitation, and irreligion prevailing in the world. The remedy to purge the world of these manifold diseases could only be the practice of infinite love, based on the recognition of humanity as one family of God. If you really, with a heart sincere to the core, wish to attain perfect freedom or happiness and not fall into the clutches of pride, exclusiveness, misery, walk on the path of universal love and service and thus bless your life with the vision of immortality. Till Papa Puja Swamiji says, till I came to the ashram, I was identifying myself with a small family. Say I was moving in a narrow circle. But after coming here, I started feeling that I belonged to the entire world, of which the old family was a part. So it was not renunciation of a family, but acceptance of all families, the whole world as mine. Brahman pervades every particle in this universe by Swami Ranganathananji. Yata pravritti bhutanam yena sarvamidam tadam swakarmanatam abhyarsya siddhim vindati manavaha. From whom is the evolution of all beings, by whom all this is pervaded, worshipping him with one's own work, a person attains perfection. From whom this universe has come? Yataha pravritti bhutanam. The whole universe of being has come from the Supreme Brahman. Yena sarvam idam tatam. By whom everything in this manifested is pervaded. The cause pervades the effect. If the world has come from Brahman, the world is pervaded by that very Brahman. The entire manifestation of the universe has come from that ultimate reality. Yataha means from where? Meaning thereby the Supreme Brahman. And that Brahman is there in every particle in this universe. Yena sarvam idam tatam. What is the nature of that Brahman? It is the nature of pure consciousness, infinite and non-dual. That is not a lump of matter, but that is the infinite consciousness or Chit Swarupa. Brahman is defined in the Taittiriya Upanishad as Satyam Jnanam Anandam Brahma. Truth, consciousness and infinitude. That Brahman has protected the universe. You and I have come from that. And that Brahman is there in every particle in this universe. In you, in me, and also in the world outside. If that is so, then Brahman is not far away from us. It is nearest to me and to you. So karmana tam abhyarcha. Through one's work, worshipping the Brahman. To remember him and to realize him. You worship him through your work. What a beautiful idea. Siddhim vindati manava. A person attains siddhi or spiritual perfection by this orientation of all work in that direction. It's a beautiful message for every worker in this world. The humblest of occupations and the big social occupations have no difference as far as spiritual value is concerned. Each one of them can take you straight to the highest spiritual development. This is the supremely redemptive message of the Gita. Experiencing the omnipresence of God by Acharya Vinoba Bhave. How to experience the omnipresence of God is an impenetrable and mysterious question. Unless and until one knows how to transcend the mind, one cannot even get a clue as to how to answer this question. Wakefulness and dream are all aspects of the mind. Only when one goes above this plane, only when one goes above this plane of the mind will one see God. The experience of God's presence comes from within. To be able to see God in all people, trees, animals around us is the real realization of God. We are living beings and full of consciousness. If an ant comes and sits on our leg, it has no awareness that it is touching a living organism. It sits on our leg as if it was just another piece of matter. Our state of awareness is similar. An ant has no cognizance of the touch of a living being and thinks that it is sitting on a lump of clay. Similarly, we are in the embrace of God all the time, but we see a house as a house, a tree as a tree, land as a land. We do not see God there. We are constantly touched by God or sitting in His lap yet unfortunately we have no cognizance of it. Saint Ekanath says that one sees the grain of sugar but does not see the sweetness therein. The sweetness will be felt only when one tastes it. Similarly, if one gives up ego, I-ness, then one will see God, who is present in everything and everywhere. Wherever you look, the presence of God will be felt. The intelligence will not be able to analyze it, as it is a matter of intuitive experience only. The meaning of realization of the Supreme Self is the unity of the universe, and the consciousness as accepted through reflection should be experienced in practical life as well. If meditation makes one experience that unity, then one must see it in the external world as well. If one sees an ant moving, one should feel as if God is moving. God is present in human beings, cows, rocks, stones. Acquiring this knowledge of unity is coming to an important beginning stage, but one must go beyond that. One must see God in a particular idol or object of worship, but fail to see God in another human being. That means there is a lack of realization. Being able to see God in a particular idol is an outcome of intense faith, whereas being able to see God in everything and everywhere is an outcome of the realization of the Supreme Self. A couple of articles are there, you will take it up tomorrow. So the whole thrust through so many articles, emphasis on what? The world is one family. We are all interdependent, interconnected. So to the extent possible, we will now try to expand. The purpose of chanting Ram Nam, purpose of going through this triune path, Seva and Dhyan, the purpose of whatever we attend from morning till evening in the ashram is all to remind us of how to expand, how to expand, how to expand. This should be very clear to all of us. Coming to the ashram is only to learn for that, not to confine within the cage of me and mine. That is the sum total of all these articles. Why should we expand? Because we are what we are because of the world. Why should we expand? Because we are what we are because of the world, not because of me and mine. Every item I use, every item I need to exist is universal. Right from this language, right from the mic, right from the laptop, right from the building, right from the... everything has come from what? No? And to live, we all need air, we need the earth, we need the space, we need water. Either Mother Nature has given or the society has given. Nobody can claim that this, I have brought this out. So it is not a dictum or a dogma imposed on us that you should expand. It is the simple truth. When I am the recipient, when I am the beneficiary, if I am one among the beneficiaries of the many of the gifts, bounteous gifts given by God through His creation, how can I limit myself to me and mine? At least intellectually I should try to expand first. And in whatever form it is possible at the practical life, I try to expand. For that individual, for the intellectual expansion, all these articles help us. Actual expansion should be done by ourselves. Why I should expand? Articles have given us, knowledge has given us. But the process of expansion starts from me and mine only. I must make the beginning. Papa Mataji would be very happy if we conceive this idea, you know. When he said as soon as we enter there is a board, the ideal spelt out by him on 15th May 1931. Ideal of the ashram is universal love and service, based upon the vision of divinity in everybody. So they will be the happiest people if we start learning this, you know, ABC of universal love and service. We were attending to many of the routines here. We are doing seva, or we feel we are doing seva. Right from morning till evening, none of us are sitting idle. But have we brought this idea into our mind? Papa Mataji have emphatically made it clear that the aim of our life should be to expand. So that is the theme of this month's vision, brought out and expressed through so many Mahatmas. Papa, Mataji, Swamiji, Bhagavan Ramana, Ramakrishna Paramahamsar, Swami Shivananji Maharaj, Acharya Vinoba Bhave. Like that, you know, so many. So we may not be able to remember what all they have said, but this one is very clear, you know. The common thread in all these things is expand. From the present level to a higher level, to a highest level. So may He, who has facilitated us to dwell on these sublime thoughts, enable us to lead our life on these lines. That is our humble prayer. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Ram Om. 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 Om Hari Om, Pranam.
Hari Om, Hari Om,
Hari Om.